All right, boys, TDUSC. Now, if you know me, I like to tune. I like to mess with cars. I like to make them better. You know, so I've been trying to figure it out. I've had a couple of the dudes on stream giving me tips, what they found, and we've kind of came to some conclusions. I had some things backwards, which seems to be a bug, and some things that just are confusing. But I think for the most part, I got a pretty solid handle on some basic tuning right now. I'm still trying to really get like 100% on it. Some things I feel like with the differential, I'm changing, going from like one extreme to the other. I don't really notice a difference, but there's a couple things that are pretty solid. So, you know, if you don't know, once you get, you know, you can go to car setup. Once you get to level 20, you can basically make your own tunes here. So I pretty much so far have like a grip tune, like a circuit, quick, tight track tune for like cornering and grip, and then I have a top speed tune because you can really crank up the downforce in this game and get like a lot more grip, but your top speed will go down by like 60 miles per hour. It's kind of crazy. I also have technique to get your braking a little more powerful. You got to be a little careful with it. But yeah, so basically, if you don't know, press the start button, or I don't know if you're on PC, whatever, and basically go to car setup. Once you hit level 20, you can start a new driving mode. Okay, so basically, I'll start with my top speed right here, and as you can see, we can do 363 miles per hour. Now, can we actually get that high? Probably not. Those numbers are a little skewed from time to time, but I'm gonna rip this through the tunnel. And then I'm going to switch to this, which you see my top speed goes to 299. How much of a difference that is, okay? Which, it's pretty wild. Okay, so we got top speed on. Fire this bad boy up. All right. Let's see what we can do by the time we get out of this tunnel. All right, we hit 315. All right. Now, let's put on the grip tune and see what we can do. That sounds like tapering off a lot harder. Yeah, we're kind of slowing down now. 277. You're talking about what, 45 mile per hour difference in those two tunes? So let me show you what's going on with that, okay? My grip tune. Now, once you go in, you make a new one, okay? You can select any of the presets and kind of make your own with what they have. Like if I want this one, and then I want balance, and then I want sport, and then I want hard. You can do that. You can make your own tune, right? Or make sure, because you can go in and like say if I leave that and I go into custom here, I come out, it's still on acceleration. So make sure if you're going to do all custom, go down here and select custom and then go back and edit. That way, once you do it, it's you know, you're good to go. But basically you're going to hit, it says edit at the bottom, okay? When you're over this, it highlights edit. Make sure you edit. Now, I really didn't mess with the gearing on this one. Some cars, you know, I'm messing with the gearing, short gears, long gears. Each gear is kind of getting its own thing. This one I didn't really have to mess with too much here. So basically the biggest thing here is I would mess with your final gear ratio, if you're familiar with that. Basically, more to the left is longer gears, and over here is shorter gears. You see how my miles per hour goes down, 277, and if I go longer gears, it goes up. Okay, now do not save. Okay, I don't want to mess that up. So basically, your biggest thing under here is downforce. Now, you'd think going towards this way would be adding downforce, right? Because it's 1 and the other side is negative. Wrong. This is taking away downforce, and negative is adding downforce. I had that backwards for like days, and I was wondering why my cars felt a little looser. Now, if you look here, my top speed is 296, okay? If I go to this side, you see how my top speed goes up? So if you really want to gear something for top speed, you bump that up. Less air resistance, you know what I mean? But you're going to get less grip. So for cars like this, my grip tunes, crank that downforce up. If your rear is sliding out, max this bad boy out. But keep in mind, you're going to lose a lot of top speed. So it's kind of one of those things where you can have multiple car setups. I think you can make 6 custom setups. So make a few, you know what I mean? Maybe you want some grip, but you need a little bit more top speed. Maybe only go like, you know, 5 or something. And that way you still get more downforce than the default of 0. And also, if you look, right, you can toggle up here and go through. Like if they want the game has acceleration set. Notice how this is all the way high. Okay, the gears are just wop, 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 wop. But you get better acceleration. And then for their downforce, they're at negative 0.7 and 0.7. So better acceleration, more downforce. If they go for top speed, obviously they've lengthened the gear ratio. And then for the downforce, they never go past 0.4. Okay, still gives some downforce, but going all the way to 1, obviously, is, you know, the least air resistance. So that's kind of how that goes. So mine, you know, just kind of wherever you feel. I'm going to back out of this so it doesn't save. So whatever you feel is right, you know, mess with it. If you have a rear wheel drive car and, you know, it's a little loose, bump the rear downforce up. You want it to turn in better, crank up the front downforce towards the negative, all right? You want top speed, go towards the 1, okay? That's pretty much all you need to know for that. Now, stability. This, I'm not really noticing a big difference from going 80% to 120%. I'm really not noticing. Really, it's not like some other games where you really feel it. Now, if you look at like impact resistance, okay, they got full ride height, they've got soft springs, they've got soft shock absorbers, and then they've got the rebound maxed out. If you go to stability for like, you know, actual racing, they're full low, okay, as low as you can get the car. They always max out the stiffness of the springs. Their shock absorbers are full low, and then their rebound are full high. So even the stock settings that they give you are min-maxed. Like there's no in between. And honestly, I've gone from like, you know what I mean, different ride heights to different settings for these. I've tried full hard on the absorbers. I've gone 90, I've gone 85. I'm having a real hard time really. It's not like a noticeable difference. You know what I mean? I can't really put my finger on what this really does. So I've just kind of gone off of what pretty much what they do and then tweaked it a little bit, maybe hoping it does something. But going from 80 to 120, I don't really notice anything crazy. All I know is that they're cranking out the stiffness, going pretty soft on the absorbers, and then going pretty hard on the rebound. So if I have a rear-wheel drive car, all-wheel drive, stiffen that bad boy up, you know what I mean? But rear-wheel drive car, I tend to, you know, I'll go full stiff on the front and then not so much on the rear, and then the absorbers and the rebound, depending, you know, it's just one of those things I'm still trying to mess with. But if you want to look at what the game actually, you know, has, like even for balanced, they're still min-maxed. What is balanced there? The only thing they changed was the suspension. You know what I mean? That's the only thing they change. So, but like even going from that to full low, I don't notice a difference. If you look, the braking improves the more the ride height is. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't trust those stats on the right, and I'll show you when we get the braking. It's just weird, but yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. All right, handling. Now this one, we've been going back and forth on stream. Had a couple of the guys coming in and, okay, try this or try that, or this is what I run. It seems like for the differentials, 100 is lock and 0 is open. So like if you're doing a drift build, go full 100, whatever, you're always getting maximum power to the wheels. The more you go towards 0, the more it'll basically limit the power but give you more stability in the corners. You know, I'm not going to give you a lesson on differentials, but it's basically pretty much 0 is open and 100 is locked. That's pretty much what we've figured out. So it's kind of the same thing. Like I'll run like anywhere near 10 open and see what happens, and then I'll go like 90, 100, and I'm not really noticing a difference in acceleration, deceleration, the brake. I'm assuming the brake, I haven't messed with this too much yet, but I'm assuming that's like when you let off the gas, how much it slows you down on decel, like with this, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm still trying to get a handle on this, okay? This one's still up in the air for me. Besides roll bar and camber, tire pressure, you can only change tire pressure on front wheel drive and rear wheel drive. All wheel drive, you cannot change the tire pressure. I don't know why that's a thing. I'll move into another car to show you that. But as far as this, basically, if you want all your power going to your wheels, no like limited slip differential, go near 100. It'll just crank out the power. If you look, they have like safe driving, they kind of bump these up a bit, okay? But when you go sports driving, they're kind of down. So that's kind of where I've been staying, because like obviously when you switch to different tunes, you do kind of notice it, the presets. So I'm like, well, if that's where they got it, I guess that's the way to go. You know what I mean? I've tried some tunes with, you know, being closer to 90. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. But differentials kind of, like I said, I've been kind of going with what they do. All right, kind of more to the left side than the right. Maybe that'll change in the future once we really dig into some things. But central differential, front rear power distribution, this does make a difference. So right now, 70, I am 30% front, 70% to the rear. All-wheel drive cars, you can go 50-50 split if you want. You're going to get more understeer though. So if you want, depending on if your car is understeering or oversteering, maybe change your power depending, you know, maybe if you're getting too much oversteer, the rear's kind of pushing around too much, bump this to like try 60 out, try 65. You know what I mean? Try maybe if you want a full all-wheel drive split, go 50. That's, you know, that's up to you when you're tuning. Now, basically, roll bars, usually the front in most cars is already adjusted like 20 to 40. And then the rear is always at 0. I don't know why. Now, if you look at, like, let's say sports driving here, what do they have? 65 and 0. It seems like they always have 0. Like, even if balanced, 0. No camber. Safe driving, they lower it. No camber. They don't really add camber in their presets. They always crank up the front roll bar and they never touch the rear. The more you stiffen up the rear, the stiffer it is and the more it's going to slide, basically. I've been adjusting mine a little bit here and there. I haven't gone full 100 yet. I'm curious to kind of see how that is. But these roll bars definitely make a difference. I definitely keep the fronts around like anywhere from 50 to like 75 is kind of where I've been staying. Rear, I've been going up to 20, some cases 30 if it's like a really grippy all-wheel drive car. As you can see here for their sports driving, they only add negative 1.2 camber and then nothing on the rear. So what I have for custom is I haven't really gone, I think there's one car I put negative 3.5, but for me, like a solid negative 2 to 3 on the front and anywhere from negative 0.5 to 1.5 is where I'm laying for the rear, depending. Like if the car is really slippery, I'll leave it more towards like a 0, negative 0.5, just so I have more contact patch on the ground. It's something you got to mess with. I've never gone -6 because that seems a little crazy. I will switch after this to show a car that has tire pressure. But I haven't messed with positive camber on my off-road build yet, but I am messing with the buggy. It's not in a good spot yet, but I'm messing with that, okay? And then, of course, braking. Now, braking, there's not much to change here, but you do have brake pressure. And if you look here, you see my braking distance, 6.1 and 16.1? If I bump this down to having negative brake pressure, you see my braking gets worse, okay? Now, stock, it is right here, and I believe this is like a 68. Now, do you see the more I go towards the front, the worse the braking gets, and the more you go towards the rear, the better the braking gets? This is a lie. 100% in the rear, the brakes are not better. It's just a graphical bug. You can run full rear, and you're gonna have a bad time. If you look, hard braking, they usually are around 70 to 73 to the rear. And like full 1,000 brake pressure. Balanced, it comes down a little bit, 70% to the rear, only 200. And then soft braking, which it's not as strong, but it helps you not lose control, and I'll explain that in a second. You know, they have 68. Do you see 68, 70, 73? So they only go a little bit more towards the rear to get better braking, right? Because if we go, I think 68 was stock, right? We go boop, boop, boop. You can see it's getting better, right? 17.4 to 17. And then this, we crank this up. Boom. Now, I usually don't run 1,000. I will run anywhere from 500 to like 800 max, depending on the car. But the more brake pressure you have, even with ABS on, you'll notice, like, turn ABS off and brake with the car, your brake locks up and you kind of just slide forward. The more brake pressure you have pretty much simulates that same thing. So you kind of gotta be a little more gentler on the brake pressure here if you're turning it up, even with ABS on. But you will have better braking if you crank this up even 500 to 800 and then usually move this a little bit further to the rear. And that's pretty much all I've really found out so far. I'm still trying to mess with some things and go back and forth. And it's just one of those things that it's going to take some time and a lot of messing with. Now, let me go to our rear-wheel drive car here. So let's go. What have I messed with? FXXK. Okay. So I'm still messing with this. I don't have a top speed, or this kind of really even tune doesn't really have a high top end. So basically for this, let's see, where was it? Handling. Tire pressure. Now with the tire pressure here, I was just assuming, because it's 4-bar stock, okay, 4-bar stock. I assumed going 2-bar, less pressure, right? I was thinking like if I needed more traction, I would go a little bit less tire pressure to get more traction. Well, that's not the case here. If you read it, increasing the pressure makes the tire more rigid and the ride stiffer, but improves traction. On the other hand, a less inflated tire absorbs more shocks, but leads to a loss of traction. So I was fucking it up the whole time. So if you want more traction, you have a rear-wheel drive car, the rear's a little too loose for you, crank that pressure up. I haven't really gone full 6-bar yet, but even going from 4 to 5 or 4 to 5.5, it's pretty good. If your car's understeering a bit, you want more grip in the front, crank up that negative downforce in the front and boost your tire pressure. You will notice a huge difference in how your car handles and turns in. Also, make sure you're using slicks. Although I wish they changed the fact that literally every hypercar race is wet, even if it says clear. The roads are wet, and it's just whenever you have wet roads, the cars understeer, and it's just annoying. But the biggest things, I guess, let's wrap this up, right? The biggest things you can do is boost your tire pressure for grip, change your camber, your roll bars, your ground clearance, and your downforce. and then increase your braking. Those are the biggest things you do. If you don't touch your spring stiffness, your shock absorbers, your rebound, if you just want to leave that on, you know, whatever they have for stability, the biggest things you can do is mess with your gearing to get it kind of tuned in. Because once you deal with your downforce, you're going to have to kind of tune your gears a bit because you're going to lose a lot of top end. Downforce, ride height, camber, tire pressure, and braking. Those are the biggest things you can do, and you're going to notice a huge difference. All right, so that's what I've got with tuning so far, boys. I will be releasing tunes for every car, just so you guys can just have it. But ranked starts in 3 days, and this is going to definitely give you a little bit of an edge. Like, you can take a car with a top, like any of my top speed tunes, and then put on the grip tune. You notice a huge difference. Like the Audi R8 and the Huracan and Supercar, cranking up the front downforce, adding tire pressure. Well, you can't add tire pressure on those, but stiffening, lowering, and adding downforce is such a, they turn in so much better. It's a night and day difference. Just crank up, just take any of your car, make a custom tune, crank the downforce to -1 on front and rear, and go drive it, and you'll be like, holy shit, it turns in, it hooks, it's grippy. It's wild. But keep in mind, you lose like 60 miles per hour top speed. It's pretty crazy. But that's what I got on tuning so far, boys. Hope this has helped you to get some tuning down. If you want to wait and till I get some videos out, go for it. But you know the drill. Subscribe, come back. See you on the next one.